As a cognitive neuroscientist studying attention, one of the things that I'm particularly interested in is how and why certain activities engage attention really well and others don't.
I was noticing that a lot of my animation workshops that I do with young people, aged kind of 7 to 15, 16, a lot of the children coming had autism. And I noticed more and more that the same children were coming back time and again. And I grew really interested in what it was about animation and the workshops that was attracting children with autism to them.
Neurodivergent children in particular are at risk of being excluded from extracurricular activities because the providers are not managing to engage them. So I was excited about the idea of bringing together our combined expertise to figure out exactly what extracurricular activity providers can do to make their activities more engaging and more inclusive.
So we started with Sophie observing me running some animation workshops with children, and that enabled us to fine-tune our research design.
Because I didn't even know what stop motion animation involved, and that was really interesting. I kind of noted aspects of animation that might be particularly effective in engaging attention, like there's a lot of information, a lot of visual and tactile information, and that could be something that theoretically would be quite engaging. The fact that you're having things that move and so on, and the fact that it's driven by a personal interest. We then ran focus groups.
We decided that it would be really useful to do some focus groups with parents of autistic children and autistic adults to find out what helps them engage in extracurricular sessions.
I just liked how to see the finished look of everything.
The first thing was we found that there was a lot of exclusion going on, and there were various reasons for this. Like, for example, one thing that was mentioned was often practitioners don't quite understand what children look like when they're paying attention, and maybe some children need to move around quite a lot to focus, but when they're asked to sit still, this makes it harder. But we also found various factors that supported attention. So what we're doing now is taking this forward to a larger scale questionnaire study.
It's going to be going out to lots and lots of parents of neurotypical and neurodiverse children to find out exactly what helps their children to engage in extracurricular activities.
The idea is that this will allow us to home in on these factors and eventually draw up some guidelines that we could actually offer to practitioners on how to be more inclusive. Alongside this, we're also doing an exploratory study using EEG, which is a neuroscience technique that measures brainwaves. And we're looking at how EEG can be used to measure people's brain activity during animation, and whether this could be a way to measure how engagement in different tasks might change, and perhaps how certain engaging tasks might help with blocking out things like annoying background noises.
And we're hoping that this will all feed into our kind of final outcomes and our final conclusions. Sophie and I have discussed putting together a set of guidelines for practitioners to use in the real world, which will help practitioners engage autistic children and understand how to help them to focus when they're doing various activities.
It's really helped me to think about how my research that could be very far away from the real world can actually be applied to real world tasks. I've really developed my interest in applying my research to kind of engagement in educational and extracurricular activities in particular. So that's an area that I'd like to take forward, and I'm hoping to work maybe with Lara again on.
I'm really hoping that our guidelines and our research and my deeper understanding of what makes my workshops work is going to mean that I'll be able to put this into practice in the real world even more and make even more children happy and engaged through my workshops.